When we trust completely, our physical, mental, and spiritual planes of consciousness harmonize with the heartbeat of the earth. When we have cleared the passage of Tao to function through us with its natural velocity, the rhythms of our bodily functions and vibrations of our mental states move as an extension of the earth. A perfect example of this complete trust and harmony with the planet is the Kon-Tiki expedition of Norwegian ethnographer and adventurer Thor Heyerdahl in 1947. In this amazing story, Heyerdahl and his crew drifted on a balsa-wood raft from Peru out into the vastness of the Pacific Ocean. From a logical perspective, this attempt to just drift into the vastness of the Pacific would appear suicidal. But somehow, in true Taoist wisdom, Heyerdahl had a trust that his own organism and the ecosystem of the Pacific would harmonize together as one if they were given the time to do so. Without exercising the use of force, Heyerdahl's trust that he and the ocean were a unified system allowed the power of De to manifest. As he and his crew drifted into the unknown, the balsa wood of the raft began to swell up and bind the logs together more securely, which gave their raft the durability to take on the tough conditions of the Pacific Ocean. The issue of food was another obstacle to overcome. Yet astonishingly, as a result of their complete trust, flying fish were on their deck every morning. Rejecting the fear of the unknown, Heyerdahl and his crew began to replicate the intelligence of dolphins because they were in perfect harmony with the course of nature by following the path of least resistance. The trust in following the path of least resistance is the power of De, which is a reflection of how the power of lightning follows the path of least resistance and also of how the Tao works through an empty mind. A full mind is resistant. In the Kon-Tiki adventure, Heyerdahl's trust was answered by what we would deem miraculous events. Yet from the wisdom of the sages like Lao Tzu, those events would make perfect sense because our organism is an intrinsic part of nature. Astonishingly, as Heyerdahl continued to follow the ocean's natural rhythms, he and his crew drifted 8,000 kilometers, 5,000 miles, from Peru all the way to the distant islands of the Tuamotus of French Polynesia in the South Pacific. Heyerdahl's trust made him an aperture through which the universe could express its nature. His trust, though it may appear extreme, was the feeling of unity he had within by living Wu-Wei sincerely. In denying the use of force, Heyerdahl demonstrates how the power of De can change the world without any intention of doing so. When we oppose our own experience and try to control life, we develop an unnecessary anxiety within ourselves because we fear the uncertainty of the future. We attempt to dictate to the future through our plans, and though these plans may be good in theory, they are in reality phantoms and distractions from the unity that can be found in trust. Thor Heyerdahl is an example of what each and every one of us can live by if we are radical enough to throw off our fears of the past and future and instead live completely in the here and now. Our intentions to change the world are the result of humanity separating itself from the here and now. But it is only when we can be completely present in the here and now that we will know what is best for the future. Trust and unity arise in the crystalline clarity of stillness. Our movement out of this state tends to make us suspicious of the world. As a result, we fall into the average state of mind, which is constantly rearranging the pieces of the puzzle to try and somehow make sense of the world according to its conditioning. All of our intentions to change the world are fundamentally flawed, because the very intention to change the world implies that we do not trust the world. The unnatural systems of government and politics are built on this lack of trust. Their primary intention is to change the world according to their agenda. Government and politics are erroneously thought of as instruments to bring unity to the world, but the very essence of both is designed on the premise of a world divided. Anarchy and revolution are also flawed, because they arise from the idea of opposing the status quo with yet another agenda of changing the world. This perception of the world, which we have all adopted, is a step in the wrong direction. We believe that we need to work toward unity, yet our intentions are plagued by ours and others' conditioned isolation. How could we work toward a unity that is already innate in our nature? The unity we seek is already there, but it is only revealed when we trust the world. Changing the world in the hope of discovering unity is like a knife trying to cut itself. How can we search for something that is already there? Unity can only come from trust. Thor Heyerdahl had no intention to reach any particular destination. Thus he reached where he was meant to go with no forethought or pre-planning. His trust was his strength, and the guidance that led him on his journey was his union with the universe responding to his basic needs. In any attempt to change the world, we destroy the world, because the very intention to change something is built on the illusion of separation. Organized religion is a good example of this process, because many religions make people feel separate from God. In feeling separate from God, we are taught that we should pray, but the very act of prayer is, to a degree, a lack of trust in God. When we pray, no matter how morally elevated our prayers may be, we are trying to force God's hand in order to satisfy our conditioning and pleasures, unless the prayer is in selfless gratitude to the All. We arrogantly try to deny the destiny that is mapped out for us through praying that nothing unpleasant happens to us. To force God to your will in prayer is to lack trust in God. We are trying to change the world's circumstances according to our own beliefs and preferences. We will never experience the harmony with all life that Thor Heyerdahl felt if we continue to exhibit a lack of trust in any part of life. Trust and oneness are verified when we completely let go of ourselves and let the way of the Tao guide our life. But this guidance can never come if you are anxious to change the world or force God's hand. Our intentions for life and ourselves are the very motive that distorts the future. Attempting to force God's hand with prayer is the same as trying to change the world, because both acts destroy the world. But the world destroyed in the act of praying is the world within yourself, as you incorrectly assume that you are alien to this universe. Trust and unity come to those who do not experience the world with the filters of conditioning in their minds. Peace on earth can prevail if we can individually follow our own paths in life with no resistance to the unfoldment of the Tao, which will surely soften our hearts. It is when we force our lives to be a certain way that we are blind to where the Tao is guiding us. The language of the Tao can only be known when all operations of force have ceased within the psyche. The true power of De, virtue, comes into its own when control and force have ceased within our minds. The trust that abides within us, though it is often veiled by our conditioning, is what will allow the naturalness of Tao to unfold on our planet.